Good morning students. Today we will start with 18 FT 504 Quality Assurance in Garment Production. We are at the Unit 1 Fundamentals, and in the last lesson, that is lesson number 1, we talked about quality and its different dimensions. In lesson 2, we will also talk about the aspects of quality in terms of inspection, then inspection loop, then systems of inspection, and also types of inspection. Now students, you may be curious to know why I have touched this inspection suddenly in the quality. You see that inspection is a very vital part of assuring quality. See, if you want to assure quality of not only in the garment but also any of the products, you have to inspect the goods. Without inspection, you cannot assure the quality. In apparel industry, normally the quality is ensured by either through testing or through inspection. So, when you are talking about the fundamentals of this particular course, we talk about inspection, and while we are talking about the inspection, we will see here what do you mean by inspection loop, or what is the different types of inspection and different systems of inspection, and why such inspection is also important in the garment industry. So these are the point of discussion today in lesson 2. So while we are talking about the inspection, first point comes is the visual examination or visual review. Now when you are talking about the visual examination, it clearly indicates that we are visually seeing the material. We are not using any kind of instruments for this. Only our naked eye, we are subjectively evaluate the particular garment and then reviewing it, okay, and there are certain points should be there through which we are reviewing the material. Examination means there must be some points or some questions, marks or something should be there by which we will just examine that particular category. So some checklist is very important, so we can see some checklist by which this garment is getting evaluated, okay. What are the important points are there? Those points are nothing but measuring, examining, testing and gauging. So these are the 4 important points are very important. Now out of this, some of the points are objectively evaluated also, like measuring. You have to measure by means of some tapes or the scales. Examining means you have to examine, this is a visual examining. Testing means you have to use some instrument, of course, and gauging means that you have to really do some judgment out of it in the gauging part. So these 4 parameters are very important while we are doing this inspection procedure, okay. So measurement is one of the very important part in doing inspection, and of course the examination also, okay. Like time is involved also and money is also involved in the inspection. You see, reduction of the time and money wastage has to be taken care of while we are doing the inspection. While we are saying this, there comes a lot of important points in inspection. One of them is that how we will do the inspection, okay. What is the better way of doing the inspection? Is there any shortcut of inspection? Is it necessary that some of the lots you can do the inspection without inspecting anything? So, like a concept of zero inspection comes into there, then you inspect all the goods. That comes under the 100% inspection category. So, in between comes different sampling plans, okay, whether how many goods we should inspect, okay. So that balancing is very important there. And another important point is that why we are doing the inspection, students? Can you tell? We are doing the inspection to get excellent quality product at the final stage, okay? Because if any defect is there, you can remove, or any kind of quality control activity we can do at the intermediate stage also, at the final stage also, if any minor defects, that can be removed. So ultimate aim of ours in the quality is to get some excellent quality product, okay? For that, inspection is a vital tool, you can say, by which this can be ensured. Now students, can you tell what is this? This figure tells. This is one of the very important part of this particular inspection activity, when we try to ensure the quality of certain product. So this is nothing but, we call it as inspection loop. So what do you mean by inspection loop, and what is there in that inspection loop? That is the question here. You said that inspection is an activity. We have seen that 4 different parameters are there, but how you will implement it? First step into that is that identification of the defects, okay? And after that identification, knock the appropriate person from where this, which department this is coming, who is the head of the department, okay? So you have to catch that particular person to rectify the defect from this particular department, and then it is a team effort. So identification of the reason of defects or faults. So you have to identify for what purpose it is coming, from which machine it is coming, and how to rectify such kind of defects. So that is there in the inspection loop. And after identifying the reason of such defects, the remove of the defects. So that can come here. Okay. Now we talk about the defect. Identification of the defect plays an important role to it. So once you identify the defect, proper reasons for that defect must be identified also. So defect classification, defect identification, reason of finding such defect plays an important role in the inspection. Let us go, students, in the next reason, identify the reason for defect, on what reason the defect has come. So little bit of analysis is required for that. Now let us see what is identifying the proper reason and what is the cause of the defect and why it is important, okay? So why this identification is necessary, and when this is identified, it must be classified. The defects can be classified also in the inspection. That is why in inspection activity there are different types of defects are there. By giving proper reason to it, we try to classify them in different domain kind of thing or different levels. Those are nothing but minor defect, major defect, and also critical defect. So these are the classification of the defect. When we try to identify the defect and get the reason of removing such defect, very important in the inspection, this analysis part of removing certain defects and identification of the defect. But without knowing the cause or the source of generation of the defect, it is very difficult to tackle the defects in the garment industry. Now you can see here in this picture good examples, the removal of the defect when you are talking. The example is like this. Students, you can see this picture. You can see that I am talking about the seam. You can see that one of the seam, that uniformity of seam is not there, okay, in the round shape. But in another picture, you can see that it is very uniform seam. So when it has been detected, the particular seam has been replaced with the next one. That is the important thing in this categorization of the defect and how to tackle the defect in the garment industry. Now students, these are the different kind of aspects or the importance of inspection we are talking about this kind of in this class. But very important thing, how we will execute these things in a step by step fashion in the fabric inspection procedure. That we need to see it here. What are the different steps are there, and those steps when you are implementing and when you are really put it into practice. So what will happen and what result you will get out of it, whether it is really useful, how much painful it is or how much easy it is. Those kind of things you can see if you go through this fabric inspection procedure. So students, let us see now what are the different steps involved in the fabric inspection procedure. Step 1 is the fabric quality to be inspected. So you have to identify the particular fabric which has to be inspected. Okay. So that's why this is the first step. Fabric quality identification and inspection. Okay. Now we go into the next step. We know that what quality to be inspected now. You can see students that there are certain kind of different colors of fabric rolls are there in a photograph. So with from that you have to pick the right roll. So selection of the fabric right roll is very important. So you have to select the right roll in this inspection procedure, and then you have to start the inspection. Okay, and particular length is fixed there, that how much length you have to inspect. Next process you can see. Now let us see students what are the different types of inspections available in this industry. Now types of inspection, when you are talking in this apparel industry, we will see different inspection types starting from roving floor inspection or in process inspection. We will see it in little details when we talk individually about these different types of inspection. There is another type of inspection is there, that is called fixed inspection or centralized inspection. There is a type of inspection where final inspection, we call it as a final inspection. Key point inspection, when a key point of a garment is getting measured there. There comes 100% inspection and sample inspection or random inspection. So in the garment industry, if you see that any of this type inspection can be followed. I think student, you can understand now the importance of the inspection process and what we actually do and what are the process normally is getting followed in the inspection. Now let us see one by one what are the different types of inspection and how actually it is getting followed in the industry. Students, you can see there are two figures here to identify the first point, that is the roving or the roving floor inspection or in process inspection. What do you mean by that? You see that roving floor inspection is nothing but an inspector will go roam in the floor, okay, and then he or she will inspect different machines, different process or production or anything in the coming under inspection. So that's why it is not a fixed type of inspection, roving. So in process inspection. So any kind of production process is running, inspection will be there, whether it is correct or not. Okay. So that's why the three stages of inspection, if you classify, one is the incoming, in process and final inspection. Okay. So these are the different types of inspection process. One is the initial inspection, in process, then final inspection. In process, sometimes call it as a DUPRO also, during production inspection. And final inspection, of course, related to the final quality of a particular garment cloth. So this is the roving floor inspection, where inspector has to roam different processes where this production is going on, and in process he or she has to inspect. Let us see, students, can you see this figure and identify what is the type of inspection here? You can see that one inspector is standing there at a particular position and he is inspecting the fabric. So how you classify this? You have seen that there are various inspection methods. So key point inspection. So at a particular point, the garment is getting inspected. That is why the garment is called key point inspection method, wherein here in this method, due to some repair or some defects have been found. Okay, for repair work, a certain portion is getting inspected. That is why it is told as key point inspections. This is for repairs. Okay, repairs of a particular garment. Students, can you recognize what is this type of inspection? A person is inspecting or measuring a particular garment. Certain kind of garment, students, you must understand now, the certain kind of garment, 100% inspection is required. Specialized garment that falls under this category. High valued garment that comes under this category. So 100% inspection, because values are more in that. Pieces, if you see number of pieces and all this, production is less because high quality item. 100% inspection is required for that. Now, can you able to tell students about this particular figure? What is going on here? What type of inspection? This is nothing but sample inspection or random inspection. Anything you can pick it up and inspect, production process. Next is types in the final inspection of the garment. What are the different types available in the final inspection of garment? So what are the different types of final inspection of the garment? I was talking that final inspection, when it is done, so there are different types can be available. One of such type is no inspection system, 100% inspection system, spot checking, arbitrary sampling plan, acceptance sampling plan. So these are different kind of inspection system. 100% inspection system, students, what do you mean by 100%? As I already told, in which occasion 100% inspection system is required. So high valued items, 100% inspection system is required, or when buyer has no confidence of a particular factory of their products, then 100% inspection also may require. Students, can you identify what is the type of this inspection? What type of inspection is going on there? It is a spot checking. A particular spot is getting checked in a garment. Okay, so that is also one of the system of checking here or in the inspection. Next come acceptance sampling. Here lot of buyer nominated sampling plans are there. What buyer accepts. So AQL system comes into the play. So under this AQL, what are the major defects, how many minor defects are accepted into that? That comes under the acceptance sampling plan. So buyer normally specifies this which type of sample plan he should follow or she should follow, but factory should follow. So inspection, we have seen so far that different loops are inspection we have seen. Then we have seen the systems of inspection here, and also we have seen the types of inspection. So students, I think you have understood that how defects can be identified, classified, and cause of generation can be really tackled, and those defects, how it is removed from the production process. Then different systems, 4 different systems and 4-point systems, how it is common, and different types of inspection. That is also we have seen in this process. And also we have seen that inspection, how it is important. So thank you very much, students. We will come with a new chapter in the next class. Thank you very much.